But let's talk about one stock in particular that has caught the fancy of a lot of traders today. Surana Solar is a stock in focus, as the NSE data yesterday indicated that a certain Rakesh Jhunjhunwala had bought shares in the company. But is this the real Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, or is it a case of forced mistaken identity? CNBC TV18 investigates, and who else but Varinder Bansal is at the back of this investigation. Varinder, have you got to the bottom of this?
Well, we have certainly, and we can share some information, and which is very interesting, because yesterday, it was like in the morning, everyone came and said that, that Rakesh Jhunjhunwala has bought 2.5 lakh shares in Surana Solar. Now, that was very surprising, clearly. But if you just see the NSE data, which will come on the screen, it was, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, what was written on NSE. And NSE data, if you just see, it was not only yesterday, which is in 9th June, but also there were two blocks which happened a day early, that is 8th June, where there was Rakesh Jhunjhunwala who was buying and selling. So you will see two trades which happened on NSE. One was on 8th June, where Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, or the namesake Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, bought and sold Surana Solar. And yesterday, where Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, the namesake Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, bought 2.5 lakh shares of this company. Of course, that stock was up nearly 10-15% early in the morning. We also understand that the block deal, certain block deal was done at Sunflower Broking, which is a Rajkot-based firm. And this Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, or the mistaken identity what we're talking about, is a Kolkata-based client. And the account was opened with this Sunflower Broking, a Rajkot-based firm, in the last 1 month or so, 10-15 days back, but not more than 1 month. So the point here is that if you were thinking about who this Rakesh Jhunjhunwala was, who bought 2.5 lakh shares in solar, industries, it was not the big bull or the, or the real Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. I also had a word with Mr. Jhunjhunwala, and clearly he said that he had not bought any stake in Surana Solar yesterday, and that was his comments coming in from there. So, the point here is, if you just see the volumes, which will be very, very interesting for this stock, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, if you watch out for Surana Solar, it has been nearly 1.5-2 lakh is an average volume traded on Surana Solar. But look at the volumes today on NSE and BSE combined. The volumes are nearly 60 lakh shares on this counter, which is very fearful actually, because you never know what is happening in these counters, and this kind of mistaken identity which is going around. Someone has clearly offloaded the stock in the market today. And just watch the stock. The stock is actually now down nearly 30-31% from days high. And it's very scary. So if you just look and go into Surana Solar company, promoter holding in Surana Solar is, see, you can talk about the financials and everything, which is not great, in any of the group companies involved in this group. But the modus operandi, or what was happening in Surana Solar, is clearly something which needs to be discussed more, or maybe has to be seen more. But clearly it was not the big bull Rakesh Jhunjhunwala buying into it, but someone else who has a similar name of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. And today, the way the stock is falling down, it's really sad for some of the retail investors who actually bought early in the morning, considering or thinking that it's Rakesh Jhunjhunwala buying in, and the stock is now falling, 35% from days high.
No, it's very important what you tell us, Varinder, and thank you for spotting this for us, because so many investors get trapped into such names, I mean, so many investors follow the veteran investor Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. Is this company fundamentally sound at all, or is it?
As I said, we can talk about the fundamentals of this company, but that's another thing altogether.
Of course.
The point here is, there has to be some way to rectify this, because it could happen in the next few days, months or so, when the big bull Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, the real Jhunjhunwala, who may buy stake in some of the companies or some unknown companies or whatever, and how to identify that whether he is the right person, or it's a mistaken identity by someone else. So this has come up. I was told that it may happen in most stocks in the coming days if it was not pointed today. So this is something scary, because imagine if someone early in the morning bought the Surana Solar at considering that Rakesh Jhunjhunwala bought around 56, 57, and now the stock has been falling down 17%.
I take your point completely. I mean, SEBI should take cognizance
for the retail investors in the market, because NSE is the only data available, and you can only see Rakesh Jhunjhunwala name pointing it out, which is not a good sign.
That's right. So that, in fact, maybe the other Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, but we're lucky to have the real Varinder Bansal who's pointing out all this for us. And remember, the high point of the day today was around 62 rupees. And just take a look at that stock. It's moved now, it's at around 44 rupees. So that's a big slice. It's down 38% from the high point of the day. Not looking good at all.
And in the last 5 minutes, ever since Varinder spotted it, look at the way the stock
it tells you the
has been
story that
selling
there are some traders actually who were waiting, for the volumes to pump up and to exit in this counter. See, if it's a fundamental play, people will sit, people will watch the stock, or some investors will come and go. It's a normal thing in any of the stock. But the way the volumes have gone up from average of 2 lakh shares to as high as now 70-80 lakh.
70 lakh, yeah.
Clearly tells you that someone was waiting for this day. Someone was using this, namesake identity as some mischievous act, which is something to think about more, or to even investigate more.
All right, Varinder, yes, you must beware of these kind of stocks, and if you don't, then we have Varinder here to watch your back.
I'll not say beware about these stocks because we don't know about the company. Okay, so I will caveat this that we are not talking about the fundamentals of the company, or we are not even talking about how the company is good or bad. These kind of trades that are done in these names, and don't just follow blindly what's taking place on these trades. Okay.